Shalom. A quick pattern occurred to me. Demon time. Some food for thought. As far as odds of probability, the likelihood of a particular thing happening or not happening. Because demon time, when this utterance is manifested, one's thoughts are shifted to the male sex rather than the female sex. Let's start with the male side first. How often truly is he on demon time? Specifically with regards to the cartoon caricature, thug life, the cartoon, or the fictitious archetype, gangster. How often is he on demon time? Once or one time in 7 days, 2 times in 7 days, 3 times in 7 days, 4 times in 7 days. Twice a day. Once. Okay, in 7 days. 3 times a day. Once in 7 days. Okay, 1 day in 7 days. 4 times a day. 1 day in 7 days, etc. Okay, or once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. One day in 7 days, 2 days in 7 days, 3 days in 7 days. Okay, or 4 times a day. 4 days in 7 days, etc. As far as what? As far as black on black violence, crime, domestic disputes with his concubine or concubines, verbal violence, physical violence. Homicide rate, okay? Addition to the homicide rate. I mean, how often does an individual with an Ahab spirit partake? How often? What are the odds of probability? As far as demon time. And then with a grain of salt, you take these things in context. How often does he manifest demonic saints sign language? Okay. In response to a rival organization in the same neighborhood, or when they cross paths anywhere within a Holy Bible Live, places of business that all neighborhoods utilize. How often does one partake in demonic sign language to communicate with the other person? That death is in the air. How often for average John Doe with a cartoon caricature, a false archetype? False, by false, I'm basing that on my template for those narratives is the Holy Bible Live. Okay. Genesis to Revelations. That's my template. A cartoon caricature, false archetype for the male sex or the female sex. Thug life, gangster, one side. Sex symbol, Barbie doll. The polar opposite side, okay? Male side of the coin, female side of the coin. Masculinity, femininity. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Yeah, we gonna get there. How often does he pull the trigger? And I'm not talking about 4th of July. How often does he pull the trigger? How often is he the one that kills? Partakes in physical violence, bar fights, street fights, neighborhood fights, unprovoked violence or provoked, either or. How often, odds of probability wise? For average John Doe, based on genetic predisposition, is a beta male, evidenced by over masculine displays on his person, alcohol consumption, narcotic consumption, aspects of the gang life, the Trojan horse of those false archetypes displayed on his person, the caricatures, the cartoon caricatures, to hide or mask the inferior complexity, the attempt to display alpha male characteristics. Okay. The attempt to hide his beta male genetic predispositions that society, the West, would label him, the fickle society would label him, any place of business, any aspect of life. Behind these false archetypes and caricatures. Because the source, the root source, why does one join a gang? There are parallels to why does one join the military, but it's not the same. Why does one join a gang? Consumed. The aspects, the negative variations that go on in the neighborhood, causes one to become consumed, spirit of fear, feel small, weak, intimidated, uncomfortable in their own neighborhood, uncomfortable in their own skin, in their own body. You join a gang for what? Protection. Again, I'm basing beta male on the fact that 99% of the individuals that live in the same neighborhood and deal with the same negative variation do not join a gang, which I guess would make these individuals hyper beta males. But how often does average John Doe partake? 1 in 7 days, 2 in 7 days, 3 days in 7 days, 4 days in 7 days, 7 days in 7 days. Twice, once a day in 7 days. 3 times once a day in 7 days. 4 times once a day in 7 days. 4 times 2 days in 7 days. You understand the pattern. Okay. 2 days in 7 days. 3 days in 7 days. 4 days in 7 days. 4 times a day. 7 days and 7 days, or 7 out of 7 days. I had to set that up for you for you to have context to understand where I'm about to go with Jezebel. Because there is no comparison to demon time. There is no comparison. It is lopsided, period. End of discussion. It is lopsided. Jezebel goes to church on demon time. She goes to work on demon time. She goes to the grocery store on demon time. She goes to the post office on demon time. It could be 100 degrees outside. It could be 70 degrees outside. It could be 50 degrees outside. It could be 30 degrees outside. She stays on demon time just about 24/7. There's some positive variance amidst her psychopathy, because I'm a human being, you're a human being, we're all human beings, all fall short the glory of God. So you see positive variation, positive variance in her interactions, overall, her interactions with computer screen, the World Wide Web, WEB, family photos, photos of her children, even though this is not satire, this is not mockery, this is not superior complex, okay? This is mental illness we're discussing. Even though the account is all porn, it's all pornographic, it's either, it's variance between soft to semi-hard pornographic images. And because of this echo chamber many are in, of truth, no, lies of the world, lies of the enemy. Because many are locked in to these echo chambers that manifest in real world applications. They manifest as a psychosis bubble. And then the evidence, if one is suspended above the clouds out there somewhere, or still in Earth orbit, would be evidenced by the ability, my ability, or your ability to approach a stranger with the gospel. The likelihood they will hear you about sexual perversion, about mental illness, about psychopathy, about moral decency, etc. The likelihood one will hear you or not hear you, tune you out. Get the hell away from me. Don't look at me. Look at the ground. I'm calling the police. The likelihood one would jump to, get the hell away from me. I'm calling the police. Don't look at me. Will determine whether one is out there somewhere past the clouds or not. Locked into an echo chamber. Lies spewed. They formed covenant with in the heart from seeds that initially were sown from radio, the gospel of the radio, the TV screen, big screen, magazine, computer screen, these demonic pulpits with these demonic false teachers, with these counterfeit demonic bankrupt doctrines of heresy, apostasy, blasphemy, apathy, sown into their heart. Because we were exposed at an early age, radio, TV screen. So tens of thousands of times, the message was hammered until a certain doctrine counterfeit to the scriptures became autopilot, which in part explains some of the homoerotic fashion beta males display on their person, sagging the pants, exposing his anal pheromones to other men, even though the official narrative, he's a practicing heterosexual. And better than a coin flip, he is. He's programmed, he's indoctrinated. She's programmed, she's indoctrinated. This is where we get these displays. The cartoon caricature thug life, the false archetype, gangster, sex symbol, Barbie doll, HBIC. I said nothing to you about ethnic, age demographic, belief system, IQ, good person, bad person. I said nothing about character defects, personality defects. This is about indoctrination, mind control, being brainwashed. I said nothing about she's a good person, she's a bad person. Okay, I said demon time. Okay, it's a cold calculus. I'm not rooting for any side. I'm not against any side. It's a cold calculus. Down the middle. That's illegal is not the right word. Illegal. This is not the right word to the perversion of justice. If referees in a game want to root for this side or that side, illegal is not the right word. but it's not applicable. It's not lawful behavior. That's not the referee's job. You cannot root for side A or side B. You call it down the middle. You can't do your job. A referee is strictly about cold calculus. He don't see it, he can't call it. Period. You just can't fabricate stuff out of air. He don't see it, he can't call it. Listen to the words. As far as adverse narratives, as far as default adverse narratives, contradictory narratives. Why are you judging me? What did I do to you? I would not harm a fly. Why are they persecuting me? That's not premeditated, and those are not premeditated attempts at some generic gaslight. Those are genuine organic reactions with the season they're in, where they're at, in self-awareness, self-understanding. Intellectually speaking, socially, emotionally, spiritually. It's not the referee's job to see what side wins and what side loses. If a particular thing does not happen, he cannot call it. He cannot blow the whistle anyway. This is about demon time, and this is about indoctrination, mind control. Being deceived by the King of Kings? No. Being deceived by his arch nemesis, my arch nemesis, your arch nemesis, the thief of thieves. The thief of thieves, the enemy. Do you really think statistic-wise or probability-wise, every single woman with a Jezebel spirit, every single man with an Ahab spirit, every single woman with a false caricature, a false archetype, every single man on the planet with a false caricature, a false archetype, every single one was sat down one-on-one with elect of the church, somehow, some way, on computer screen with the FaceTime videos, whatever, somehow, some way was sat down one-on-one, fully, properly debriefed, one-on-one, no interruptions. Turn the phones off or whatever. If you're in person, no interruptions. They were fully debriefed on the things or the multitude of things within the Holy Bible live. Do you really think she will continue to go to church on demon time, go to the grocery store on demon time, go to work on demon time, go to the library on demon time? Basically, do you really think, or I don't, that she would 24/7 continue her interactions with random variables, men or women, young or old, in real world applications on demon time 24/7? Everywhere she goes or steps foot physically in the Holy Bible live? I don't. For him or for her, I don't. But again, there's a reason. There's a reason I did not mention age demographic, belief system, ethnicity. Irrelevant. Those types of variables mean nothing. Actually, they degrade the calculus. They water it down. They pervert the calculus. They mean nothing. IQ. You should laser beam and dial in demon time. What it is, what that looks like, what it feels like. Dial in demon time. What is that? Mind control, brainwashing, indoctrination, and how the vast majority, and how that pertains to the vast majority, how they become influenced and how the vast majority then becomes led, then how the vast majority forms covenant, various doctrines, philosophies, ideologies, doctrines, devils, demons. They recede from radio, TV screen, big screen magazine, computer screen. I'm doing this for a reason. I'm showing you my hand for a reason. Focus on the various degrees. Levels one becomes brainwashed, indoctrinated in your community. One is under mind control. This should give you more confidence when you are ready. In His perfect time, you will witness the gospel. You will witness in your community to lost souls. This context, this slight clarity should give you confidence you will need in time to preach His truth. Supreme self-confidence. That you know they are lost, unbeknownst to themselves, and the wickedness dwelling inside their temples like a puppet on a string, controlling, dictating the narrative. Many of them are aware they're in prison and they want out. They want Shawshank Redemption. They don't know how. Many of them are self-aware. Some variations of their autopilot behaviors are not normal. And they want out. That's where me and you come in. That's where soldiers of Christ come in. To free the captives. All praise to the Most High, Abba Yah. His Son, Jesus the Christ of Nazareth. Yeshua HaMashiach. Shalom.